All right, so those of you out there who are playing around bogey golf, maybe in the 90s, what do you think a primary key is for breaking 90? Well, right after this, I'm going to let you know what I think it is, and I think the answer is going to surprise you. You want to break 90 more consistently? I know that's a lot more fun than shooting in the 90s, so you want to lower your scores by a few shots, then absolutely stay tuned. All right, so what do you think your main key is in breaking 90? Do you think it's because you got to cure your slice? Do you think it's because you've got to drive the ball farther? Do you think you need to take less putts per round? Well, I would agree that all those things would help, but I think the one I'm going to show you in this video outranks all of them by quite a bit. Now let's look at the typical game of somebody who is shooting in the 90s. That person statistically on average is only going to have maybe 1 or 2 birdie putts per round. That means 1 or 2 greens in regulation hit. And chances are your driving and your irons tee to green are not fine enough to put you right next to the green consistently either. Pin high, maybe 5 or 6 yards off, green side bunker, things like that. Chances are between 8 and 10 times per round, or even 12 times a round, you're going to end up in the range anywhere from, say, 20 yards to the flag out to maybe 50 yards to the flag. And that's in the category we would call pitching. Most of you out there who shoot in the 90s pitch very poorly. You make drastic mistakes. You haven't built touch engaging distances between 20 and 50. But I'm here to tell you, I think that's the first place I would have somebody work, unless they're making such a huge error somewhere else. And if you can just get not great, not even good, if you can just get steady and unspectacularly mediocre through 18 holes, I think getting those pitch shots from 20 to 50 yards on the green so you can two-putt. In other words, whenever you get into that range on a par 4 or a par 5 and you're just short of the green or just off to the right of the green maybe, start thinking of it as a little bit miniature par 3. And all I need to break 90 is more pars than doubles. So it's all about eliminating some doubles and some triples. So let's talk about a few great keys that are going to help you get steady performance on these distances. All right, number 1, most average golfers, most bogey golfers, when they try to pitch up onto the green, they take too big of a backswing and too small of a follow through, and subsequently they decelerate down into the ball. So instead of making a big backswing, let's pretend it's like a matchbox, like you're gonna strike a match. We're gonna make a smaller backswing, and using some weight shift, we're going to make a bigger follow through, and we're going to feel a fairly aggressive acceleration. So I'm going to hit this 30 yards here, shorter backswing, bigger follow through, acceleration. Now, how am I getting that acceleration? Again, I'm using my body almost aggressively as I might feel it moving on a full swing. So what a lot of people don't get, they use arms only, drop the club down and stop, hit behind it, chunk it, scull it. If you're going to control the low point and get acceleration into this thing, let's get the body moving, the weight shifting aggressively, the torso turning aggressively, much more aggressively than you probably would estimate. And we're going to get this thing zipping like striking a match. So this would be the head of the match, the ground would be the match book. And let's get that flame igniting. All right, let's go for one more. We're going to go over to the 35 sign, concentrating on short to long acceleration. All right, key number 2 that a lot of bogey golfers do not do, and it makes pitch shots harder, is you're trying to play them off of a square stance and maybe even too wide of a stance. Let's make the feet narrow. And we're going to pull the left shoe back about 3 inches and open it up about 30 degrees. Opening up the stance is going to help you clear the hips through the shot and get the torso around the corner, enabling that acceleration factor. So here's a square stance to the 35-yard sign. I'm going to take this foot, I'm going to move it back. I'm going to open it up. My heels are around 6 inches apart, not too wide, pretty narrow. And now I'm set up with my hips feeling a bit open to the target. Will help me zip the hips around the corner. And accelerate the club. Tip number 3, a lot of bogeys golfers out there turn the club face over. They turn the toe over like this. Big mistake on a pitch shot. Keep in mind at the end of the swing, you'd love to have the face of the club pointing straight up to the sky, as though you were going to balance a glass of champagne on it. Don't spill the champagne and dump the champagne over. Watch the finish here. It's going to be not going to be turning the toe over, but instead I'm allowing the right forearm to more slide underneath, leaving the club face more up. Let's look at that again from a face-on angle. Again, you're going to see my right forearm and hand slide more under, with my fleshy part staying more up to the sky rather than pronating it over on a pitch shot. And you're going to see the face go through without ever having the toe past the heel. So let's take a look at it from this angle. Open stance, accelerate, and we're not letting the toe pass the heel. That'll give you some height, some stopping power, and some consistent direction right at your target. Open stance, left foot flared open 30 degrees. I've got the ball playing just behind center as my base ball position. Accelerate, don't turn the toe over. And there's a bullseye at 30 yards. All right, one more great tip for you, but you're really only going to earn this one through a lot of hard work and practice. You're probably going to need either a friend to watch you or to videotape yourself from the face on. You can really get a good feel for controlling distances by how far or deep the left arm swings around the clock. So if you're at 6 o'clock here, that would be 7, 8, and there's 9. Now that should cover you all the way up to 50 yards if you're accelerating and doing everything else correctly. So let me hit a few shots in this range from 20 to 50 yards, and we'll go back and look at them in slow motion and see what my left arm got to on the clock. All right, first 20. All right, let's go to 30. How far back does my left arm swing? Now we'll go to 40, and we'll slow it down, see how far my arm went back. And now all the way out to 50. Now this way I can control my distance, not with how hard I hit the ball coming down. That's not how I'm going to try to control this. I tried to be even with my tempo and my effort on all 4 of those shots, and I'm simply controlling the distance by how far back I go. So it might be 20, 30, 40, and 50, somewhere in that range. And I think that's what's going to help you the most too. So even tempo, even rhythm, same level of effort. I'm about a pretty gentle. I feel like I'm at about a 4 out of 10 on all of those shots, and just controlling it with the length of the backswing. All right, so if you're going to pitch the ball between 8 and 12 times around at this level, I'm hoping that you can pick up about 6 shots, or maybe a half a shot per attempt if you've got 12 of them. Not only is this going to help you cut a few shots getting up onto the green, because how many times do you miss the green from these distances altogether by chunking it, sculling it, shanking it, misjudging it? But also it's going to help you take much fewer putts, maybe 5 or 6 putts around less, because you're going to be up onto the green within 2-putt range, and hopefully out of those 8 to 12 attempts, you might roll in 1 or 2 of them per round and get a couple of 1-putts going. All right, I'm going to go back to work on my pitch shots and my distance control. Hopefully you're going to pick up a few shots from this lesson. I'm Steve. Thanks so much for watching. And as usual, I'll either see you in the next video or I'll see you shorter and straighter down the fairway. Everybody take good care.